Doktor dah start ngajar ke?
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Sorry for the actually not a technical issue, but it is my mistake. I not unmute the microphone. So for the 10 minutes, I'm talking alone in the online learning. Sorry for that. Uh, okay, we continue our discussion on ABC analysis. We continue on our discussion on ABC analysis based on the information that we discussed in the previous slide. In the previous slide on the ABC analysis, but the example in the slide classify the inventory into A, B, C, A, B, and C based on the quantity. But for this morning, we're going to use the same data to do the ABC analysis, but will be based on the total value of the inventory. Okay. So for the first step, we need to have the data of the inventory about the stock number, about the unit cost per item, and what is the total unit usage for the inventory for each of the component. And then to get the total annual value here, we need to multiply the unit cost with the annual usage. The unit cost with the annual usage. So let's say, baik semua orang boleh dengar kan? Boleh kan? Okay, sorry ya. Tadi saya terlupa nak unmute. Saya cakap sorang-sorang selama 10 minit. Okay. We continue our discussion on ABC analysis. So we multiply the unit cost with the annual usage. 60 ringgit multiply with the annual total annual usage for the inventory 90 unit. So we have here 5,400 ringgit. 5,400 ringgit for the total value of part number 1. And we repeat this process for the whole of the stock number that we have. So we multiply the unit cost with the annual usage, and after we have all the information about the total annual value here, the next step is to sort the data based on the largest value to the smallest value. Based on this data, we need to sort based on the largest value to the small value. So we need to sort this data. Okay, based on this data, we knew that the part number 9 have the largest total value, 30,600 ringgit. So the part number 9 with total value of 30,600 ringgit will be at the top of the list. So after we sorting, we will get the data of the for the inventory classification like this, and we can see the largest value will be at the top and the smallest value will be at the bottom. So this is how we do the sorting process, and after that we need to calculate the percentage of total value for each of the stock number, for each of the component that we have in the as an inventory. So before we calculate the percentage of total value, we need to know what is the total value for the whole of the inventory here. And where is the sum? So the total value here we have the total value for the whole inventory is 85,400. 85,400. 85,400. So we calculate the percentage value for each of the stock number here. 30,000 divided by 85,400. So we get at 35%, 35.8% for the stock number 9. So we do this process for the whole stock number, and we get the percentage for each of the stock number here. And the next step is to calculate the percentage cumulative total value. To calculate the percentage of cumulative total value. So for the first row, it will be equal to 35.8%. Will be equal to 35.8%. And for the second row, we need to adding the percentage of total value for the part number 8 here, which is with the total value of 18.7%. So we add with the new percentage of part number here, 35.8% plus 18.7%. So the cumulative total value will be 54.6%. Baik. Okay. So we do all this process for the whole of the stock number, and to ensure that we get the right process of calculation, at the end of the row here, for the last part number 7 here, we need to get 100% for the cumulative total value. If the percentage cumulative total value here exceed or less than 100%, it shows that our calculation or process do the ABC analysis is have something wrong at the maybe in the sorting process or during the calculation of the percentage or calculation of total value for each of the stock number. So we need to review back our process and get the 100% for the last part number in the row of percentage cumulative total value. Okay. Saya ulang sekali lagi. Saya ulang sekali lagi. Boleh ikut kan? Faham kan setakat ni kan? Boleh tak?
Faham doktor.
Faham betul.
Kalau faham saya tak payah ulang lah kan? Ada yang masih lagi tak jelas? Kalau semua jelas, saya akan proceed yang seterusnya. Saya tak ulang. Boleh eh? Baik, we proceed our next process. We proceed our next process. How to do the classification for each of the item. For each of the item. Which item should include in the A class, B class, and C class? Remember that in our discussion on ABC analysis, propose that a guideline to do the classification based on total value. Class A should be between how many percent? How many percent? How many percent? Ada yang ingat tak? How many percent for the class A? For the total value for the class A, how many percent?
70 to 80.
70 to 80.
80.
Okay, 70 to 80%. For the class B, about 50%, right? Okay, for the class C, for the
5
class
to
C,
10%.
10%.
5 to 10%.
5 to 10%, right? Right. 5 to 10%. Okay. Let's say for the class A, we decide to have 80%. We decide to have 80%. So we need to find in this column of percentage cumulative total value, where is the percentage cumulative total value that approximate to the 80%. So we have two part number here, which is part number 2 and part number 1 and 4, right? Part number 1 and 4. So we need to choose between these two part number, which one will be the last part number, will be last part number include in the class A item. So based on this percentage cumulative total value, we show that 82% is more approximate to the 80% of total value in class A compared to the 77.3%. How do we get this value? How do we get this decision? So we knew that 80%, so try to do the deduction at this percentage cumulative total value. So let's say 80% minus with the 77.3%. Kan? Oh, sorry. Sorry. 80%. 80% minus with the 77. So we have here 2.7. The difference between 80% and 77.3, we have percent, and for the okay, so we get the answer 77.3 percent, and this one is 82.9% or 82.9%. So the difference between 77.3% and 82.9%, based on this answer, we knew that the we knew that the part number one is more approximate to the 80% of total value for class A item. So my guessing is wrong, that part number 4 is approximate to the 80%. So for the part number 4 compared to the part number 1, the part number 1 is more approximate to the 80%. So we decide that stock number 9, 8, 2 and 1 will be included for as a class A item. Will be included as a class A item. Class A item. So the next is to choose what is the item in the class B. Class B have the total value about 50%. Have the total value about 50%. So for the first guideline that we use class A with the 80%, so we adding 80% with the 50%, so the cumulative percentage will be 95%. So we need to find which part number that close to the 95%. In this case, show that part number 5 have the closest of percentage cumulative total value to the class B item with the 50%. So we decide that this item will be included in the class B item. And the rest of the item will be included in the class C item. Alhamdulillah.
Sir,
Ah,
can you explain again how we get the class B and class C?
class B and class
Class C.
C. Okay, how do we get the class B and class C? We knew that for the class A item, we're using a guideline of 80% of total value, right? We're using the guideline for the class A item is 80%. So let we note here 80%. So percent of total value. Okay. Okay. We knew that to choose the item for the class A item, we're using 80% of total value as a guideline. So, to decide which item will be included in the class B item, we need to adding 50% to the 80% here. So, we have here 80%. We need to add in 50% as a guideline, 50% to the total cumulative value, 80%. So we get the new cumulative percentage total value for the class B item at 95%. Boleh faham? Boleh ya?
Boleh, faham.
Kan? Kita nak cari kelas B item kan, sebab kita based on cumulative. Percentage di sini adalah berdasarkan total value kat sini. Total value kat sini kan. Tapi kita nak cari cumulative, kita akan buat penambahan berdasarkan guideline yang kita ada. Bagi contoh, kita tengok kelas A item, kita menggunakan guideline iaitu kelas A total value dia adalah 80%. Jadi kita perlu tambah untuk kelas B item 15% kepada cumulative percentage total value 80% supaya kita dapat mencari percentage cumulative total value yang baru untuk kelas B item. Jadi kita dapatlah di sini 95% kan. 15 tambah dengan 80 kita akan dapat 95%. Jadi kita akan cari di dalam cumulative value di sini yang manakah yang paling hampir dengan 95%. Jadi kita tengok di sini yang paling hampir dengan 95% adalah item yang terakhir di dalam kelas B item iaitu part number 5 kan. Jadi part number 5 adalah item yang terakhir kita masukkan dalam kelas B item. Okay, how about kelas C item? Automatically the rest item that left after we classifying the item as a class A and class B will be in the class C item. Baik, kalau kita tengok di sini, kita tak perlulah nak buat analisis lagi sebab kita cuma ada 3 kelas saja, A, B dan C. Jadi apabila kita buat B item, kelas B item, automatic item yang tinggal kan akan menjadi item yang kita masukkan di dalam kelas C kan. Jadi kita dah dapat di sini iaitu kelas A, kelas B dan kelas C. Baik. Ada setengah organisasi kan, yang ni praktikal lah kan, praktikal yang dipraktis kan, ada masa kita buat kajian kan, saya ada buat kajian berkaitan dengan classification of inventory dan ada industri, ada company yang membuat classification of inventory ni bukan hanya dipecahkan kepada 3 sahaja, tapi ada yang 4 dan ada yang 5. Jadi yang kita belajar ni berkaitan dengan ABC analysis ni adalah sebagai asas panduan bagaimana bagaimana classification of inventory itu dilaksanakan. Okay. Based on my research finding show that some of the organization or company use classification of inventory but not categorize or classifying the inventory into class A, B or C, but some of the company have more than 3 classification of inventory. And of course, the ABC analysis that we learn in this class is a guideline on how or approach how to do the classification of inventory. So there are many factor to be included to determine the item whether in the class A, class B or class C. Not limit only to the quantity of usage of inventory and not limit to the total value of inventory. So it might be based on the it might be based on the quality, it might be based on the cost to having the inventory. So it depends on the organization how they do the classification of inventory. Baik. Jadi ada soalan? Any question regarding to the ABC classification analysis? Ada soalan tak berkaitan dengan ABC classification? Boleh kita teruskan?
Boleh.
Boleh ya? Okay. Why do we do the classification of inventory? Why do we need to do the classification of inventory? Any of you have opinion or suggestion?
To handle the cost,
To handle the cost, how do we handle the cost? Can you be more specific on how do we handle the cost based on the classification of inventory?
maybe class A item is more value than class B item, so they need more. They have to take care more for inventory A, so it will cost more.
Okay.
So maybe they need a more secure place to keep the inventory.
Okay, good point. So the classification of inventory will be we will give information about the characteristic of inventory that company have. For example, we knew that the class A item have a high value, right? The class A item have a high value compared to the class B and C item. So it signal to the organization or company to do the tight control of inventory, right? So the company need to do a tight control for the class A item. So for example, the monitoring of inventory level for the class A item need to do continuously compared to the class C item. And it suggests that for the class A item, use a continuous monitoring system to controlling the inventory. And one of the technique or approach model that can we use to monitor the class A item is EOQ model, kan? Ingat tak lagi model EOQ macam mana? Ingat tak model EOQ? Economic order quantity, Economic order quantity. How do we decide when to order? How do we decide when to order under the EOQ model, economic order quantity model? Yeah. Any of you? Azwani. Saya duk nampak nama Azwani kat tepi tu kan. Azwani, macam mana kita nak tentukan bila perlu kita buat pesanan semula untuk model EOQ? Dah tak ingat dah model EOQ. Azwani? Ada ke tak ada ni Azwani ni? Tak ingat. Okey. Kalau kita tengok, kita ingat semula kan? Kita ingat semula lah. Kita sama-sama ingat semula. Model EOQ, bila kita nak tentukan, bila kita perlu buat pesanan semula, kita akan lihat pada reorder point level kan? ROP dia kan? Let's say, how do we decide when to order under EOQ model? We're going to see what is the reorder point level that we decide under the EOQ model. Let's say we calculate and found that the reorder point level under EOQ model is 100 unit. So whenever the inventory level reach at 100 unit, we need to replenish the inventory. Right? We need to replenish, we need to reorder the inventory from our supplier. So how do we know that our inventory has reached